It's Mark and Marlene with Awaken with Mark AWM. We're glad to be here with you for another live.
Yes, yes.
Today we're going to be talking about the fact that we have retired abroad because we never really talked about that and told our story and our experiences.
Right.
I guess we want to do that, huh?
Yes, it's like we've had it here and there. You know, you might say it here and there, but no one really knows. So how did they go about doing that? So
Right.
that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, so actually, if you grab your cup of water there, maybe we'll go ahead and toast to the fact that we is retired, and that is a good thing. As a matter of fact, if I'd have known retirement was going to be this good, I would have skipped working all those years and went straight to it.
Right, right. The relaxation, no stress, no anxiety. It's really, really nice.
It's worth it.
Yes,
It's definitely worth it.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun live. We're going to be taking questions when you all come on board. So this will be fun. We'll talk about our experiences, tell you what's coming up in AWM, things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun. We think it's going to be a blast. We think you're going to have fun listening to it. So anyway, it's about our retirement abroad, our story, and our experiences. So that's what life is for us. So if you are new to our channel, we are Awaken with Mark, and we have been for last couple years, well, several years. We're going on 3 years now on the continent of Africa.
Yes.
Yay. Woo woo. All right.
Loving
all right.
it, loving it.
And it's been a blast. So we're going to tell you about how we got here. We're going to back up. I guess this would be our origin
Yes.
story. And tell you what kind of things we went through, some of the ups, some of the downs, things that we went through. So I guess we can begin with, I'm actually from the United States. I'm from Central Illinois, as a matter of fact. And what I noticed is that there is preparation that happened in my life that I didn't know was preparation for what we would be doing now.
Yes.
And I think that's true of everyone, that they're being prepared, and you may not be cognizant of what's going on, that the Most High is preparing you, but He is, I think.
Sorry about that. Sometimes we have a little difficulty with the electricity here and there, but we're back.
Yes, we are.
Yes, type 1 in the chat right now if you can hear and see mom and dad.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for that one. We appreciate that.
All right.
So that's the good news. And in fact, sometimes that kind of stuff periodically happens, to be quite honest with you. So just be aware of that. I was saying that sometimes I feel like I was prepared,
Right.
and I think you were too,
Oh, yes.
for where we are now. And that doesn't mean where we are now, we aren't being prepared for something else, as
That's
a matter
true.
of fact.
That's true.
And I really want to be cognizant of that kind of a thing,
Yes.
or I desire to be more in tune to it. I moved from Central Illinois to,
Station, and it was California. It wasn't San Francisco. It was more further down in the southern area. Hot area, beautiful though, but we were there a few years. And then he retired, and we came back to the East Coast. So I've been to quite a few places, and then we ventured on in our lives. And like Mark said, he had come to the DMV, and we met and married. And then we had some changes come along and brought me back to California. Well, we'll get back to that as we further on speak about it. So I've been to California twice to live, but we'll talk more about that as we continue our journey.
yeah, take a moment to type in the chat where you're from, and they'll let us know what you're saying. Also, if you have any questions, just let us know. So we have some sons, and one of the things we agreed on was that I would take father and son trips anywhere in the world with the sons, one at a time individually. And the purpose of that was to actually bond with them and to be in a place where neither one of us had been to. We also had our sons venture into a program called People to People, which is the United States program started by, I think, Eisenhower, Kennedy, I think. And the purpose of that was to get young people to interact with each other from different countries. So our sons have also been to Europe, Australia, and places like that through that program. So I see in our lives there was this thing that was going on where we were traveling out and about,
all the time.
doing,
Yes.
doing our thing. And then we kind of looked around and said, hey, we've been to quite a few countries.
Yes, after a while, we realized it was definitely more than 10, so yes.
Yeah. So as we're living our life, oh, hey, Just Do. So your daughter did that too. Cool. And she played tennis. I like some tennis playing. I do not give lessons to people, and that kind of got me in trouble in some relationships. But because the person who knows how to play tennis always ends up chasing the ball when it goes over the fence. I'm not down with that, okay? If you can't control your serve, flat first
Right
hand, what
now.
that's like. So there you have it. Hey, we found out that because you homeschooled for 24, 25
Right.
years, we did not do salary income over a long period of time to build up all this money or whatever.
Right.
And so we knew we could not afford to retire in the United States, which is kind of funny because I guess people are going to be asking us, what's it like to retire abroad? Well, it's funny because we're concerned about them
Right.
because we knew we could not make it.
Right.
So now it's back. Welcome back again. But we knew we could not afford to retire in the United States. And so, we also experienced some very real financial difficulties.
Yes.
We was broke, Jack. We was really broke. I had to borrow money to get on the metro to get to work and had to
Right.
take vacation days sometimes because I could not afford to go to work. That's how bad it was. But we did begin searching because there was this thing that was sort of fearful for me in terms of what are we going to do in terms of retirement.
Right.
And so we looked at our travel background and said, hey, let's do some things. And we went to a few places, checked them out, a
Right.
few countries.
Right. Began that trek of saying, where is it we could go that would fit into our lifestyle, fit into our needs? And so we just started traveling various places. We were finding ourselves in St. Kitts, Nevis, and we'd been to Puerto Rico. This was after the hurricane, or before the hurricane, really. But then we've gone to Jamaica. We'd even ventured to check out the Virgin Islands. So just trying to find places that met all the needs. Your health and how the living was, cost of living, things like that. And so we were still on our trek, just trying to figure out where is it we really felt that we wanted to settle. So we were just continuing to do that as time went on.
When I wave, we got an entry from Jackson, Mississippi. And hey, Jermango, also from Mississippi. We got a chance to go through there when we drove across the country from the DMV to Los Angeles, California, which was the last place in the United States we lived. The reason why we were there is because I had a dream, and you agreed also.
Right.
You had a dream of staying in Southern Cal, and so I just simply transferred in my good government job on out to our region out there, and we were there for almost 3 years, give or take.
Right.
And but we drove across the United
Oh, that
States,
was nice.
which was quite an adventure. I think one of the hallmarks of us is a good time looking for a place to happen.
Right. And we
Yeah.
just love just experiencing. It's like when you take your time, you just experience life. And so we said when we travel, because you can go from the East Coast to the West Coast in, I don't know, a matter of 4 days or so, but we thought we'd stretch it out and just take our time. We just mapped it out. We had some family and friends along the way that we stayed with, but it was really, really nice. We really had a good time. So that was, to do that again would be great, but that was good.
Yeah, it was fun staying with relatives from Atlanta and in Phoenix,
Yes.
and going to Tuskegee and seeing the Grand Canyon and being down on Bourbon Street. I mean, that was a blast. You say, what does it have to do with retirement abroad? You're beginning to see characteristics of ourselves.
Right.
Do you have to have these characteristics? No, you don't. All we're saying is, it's, as I was talking to my niece today, it's like rowing your rowboat. I learned how to do that in Boy Scouts. When you row in a rowboat, you need to have your back to the destination where you're going. So you're never looking where you're going, you're looking where you've been. And that's not such a bad thing because when you do that, you begin to see trends and patterns, and people are always like pulling on the Most High to show me which way to go and show me. He's got breadcrumbs in your past of what is appropriate and where things showed up well in your life that you liked, that you did well, that you learned from experiences. And so that's one of the starter package kind of things that I think people ought to try to apprehend in terms of whether or not how this thing might work for you. Hey, Tanya Brooks from Ebony Odyssey. All right. So I'm going to move on along here. Let's see here. So the money was tight, and I said, hey, I got to max out my retirement contributions. Oh, no. And I was kind of concerned about that. But you know, there's a Bible verse that says the years of the cankerworm and the locust, he's going to restore those. And I saw where he did. Whereas we put our minds to it and we put in a little bit of time and saw that thing grow. That was fantastic.
Yes.
To actually put our hearts into something and see the Most High bless it is what I'm saying. Yeah. So we started going to retirement
Right,
workshops.
we did retirement workshops because it really helped us start to map out, okay, what's it gonna look like within our means and because sometimes you don't know until you do that what the opportunities are ahead. So we started doing that and started figuring out, you know, we had time to kind of really get ourselves in a good state in reference to what our finances look like. And so that helped us to kind of look into the next thing to do is to start to downsize. Really looking at, okay, you know, a lot of times people have so many things. You have this huge TV, you've got all these vehicles, you've got all this, that, and the other. And so we had to start looking at, okay, the things that we have, do we really need those things? We started doing an inventory, and it's like you spending more on things that you just really don't need. So we had to look at what was more of a necessity and not necessarily a want. Because if you're kind of on a trek and you have a vision of what you want to do, we wanted to be able to stay within those parameters of what our vision was. So we started, you know, really doing those areas, excuse me, doing those things to kind of make it a better, getting us in a better position to be able to see what we could do ahead of things.
I think that's another major point there is when you have goals for things and you're downsizing, you begin to, and that's perfect, you begin to think about the purpose of things. You think of things differently. Have I worn whatever X is? Remember you would say that to me, you're like, you haven't worn that in like 6 to 9 months, a year or something like that.
Right.
Why are you hanging on to these suits or something like that? I was like, well, one day I'm gonna fit them. No, you're not. And, and other things, you begin to look at them and say, hey, do I really need to soup up your clean black Honda Civic and you know, like pimp it out? No, you really don't need to do that. So it's like you begin to have some more focus and purpose. And downsizing, I think, really prepared us for that, as you were saying. I think around about that time, we also, we thought about the finances and looked into you maybe doing substitute teaching again or something like that.
Right, yeah, I've done that in Maryland, and so this time we were living in California. And I said, well, maybe I'll check into that. It wasn't like I wanted to just out and get this full-time job, but I could do something that was kind of easy. Seemed like I was, you know, almost semi-retired. So we started looking into that. That was going to be a little different than where it was in Maryland because you had to take a test and different things. I didn't have to do that in Maryland. But So we started looking into that, but then through, I think, was it a friend of yours? Someone we were talking to and was helping us and to know that maybe I could do something different in reference to maybe looking more into retiring instead of.
Oh, that was from the workshop, the
Yeah,
retirement
yeah,
workshop. So
yeah.
we attended the retirement workshops together, and then they'll have the SME, subject matter expert, make themselves available for one-on-one calls. And so we say, hey, we're going to take advantage of these things, and we call. And it reminded me of coaching, because you start seeing an option, which in this case, we were thinking in terms of you doing substitute teaching, especially to that school, which was like right around the corner from us. But another option presented itself, which was, well, you could just retire and you pull in that money and continue homemaking and doing the
Right.
things that you felt like,
Right.
like you like taking care of your health, exercising, going out and about and doing things. And I was like, hey, let's do this. So that was the direction we chose to go. It had popped up on the screen. I didn't see who mentioned it, but it had how downsizing helped us. Downsizing really did help us. The reason why is because I think there's so much distraction in the world.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't realize how many things we start accumulating. And you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this thing? And so as you had said, we had taken inventory of our spending, and we started looking at things as more, is it more of a necessity versus a want?
Right. And I think also when we moved from Maryland to California, that really showed you, when you make a move, you really see what you have, and you're like, I can't believe we have all these things that we never do anything with. It's amazing what you really have when you take that, when you have that type of inventory, and it's a move, but just to take stock of what you have and say, okay, if I'm going to move somewhere or I'm going to retire, whatever, what can I live on? What is comfortable for me, not having all of these things? And so that really helped us to see how could we really live a different, simpler lifestyle, a good lifestyle, but a simpler lifestyle without all the things that we had that we just didn't really need.
So we did not immerse ourselves in minimalism. What we did was we took some of the principles, and you know how they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Well, we took what was appropriate for us and said, hey, this can help us in our lives. And it
Right.
did, because we then were able to get out of debt a second time
And stay out of debt.
yes, and stay out of debt. So we're human, and we, you know, even though we had been completely out of debt, we were able to get out of there again. We were thinking of moving to Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Is actually what it was.
Oh.
That was destined to want to be, to move down there. We had, let's see here. Daniel and I had gone through Houston, Texas on our way to Japan once. That's where the flight originated. And it was my first time those years ago in Houston, and I just loved it. Whereas I've been to Dallas before, and instantly I didn't like it, Las Colinas. But Houston just welcomed me. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah.
And then when we are driving through there and we get to stay at, my friend, shout out
Right.
to Glenda, we got to stay at her house again, and you got to be there, you got to meet her and see this place. And I was like, oh man, I'm feeling this. I mean, it's more than just the turkey hut or whatever. It's more than that, just that, the turkey leg hut, I forgot what you call it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Life happened. And the housing market totally changed. So these inexpensive houses that were way below the cost of houses in the DMV. I mean, way below.
Or in California, but yeah.
Or in California, yeah. I mean, you're talking the difference between a $750,000 house
Yes.
and a $195,000 solid brick home, beautiful, lot of land, 2-car garage, upstairs. Also, it wasn't a Rambler. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And well,
But then
yeah.
life sets in, things change.
So basically what we're saying is the price went up, the crime went up in Houston. A friend of mine, co-worker, shout out to Bree, she was checking things out for us there in Houston while we were in Los Angeles and sending us updates and going to look at houses for us and giving us info and said, this is not happening for y'all, Mark.
Yeah.
And she got on a Zoom call and just broke the news to us. And so we said, oh my goodness. Because we had originally thought we would go to Africa maybe 5, 6, 7 years out.
Right. So the plan was always to come, but we were like going to do little, intricate things and do certain things, save up more money, things like that. And so that's how Houston was going to be our kind of landing spot for a period of time. And then we would look to go where we would settle in Africa. But then when that changed, that kind of changed, sped up a little bit more of, I guess,
Our timeline sped up, yeah.
And
So
was praying more for direction on, okay, when?
And around about that time, some things started changing from the federal government point of view with the situation that occurred with the shutdown on the whole world. And when the president, who's the current president now, got on and said all federal employees are going to have to do X, and I'm like, I turned around and looked at you and said, I'm retiring. I'm out of here.
I'm not doing that.
And but Houston didn't get to be our destination. So here's another tip, and that is you can decide when you think you're going to leave and go anywhere, France, Belgium, wherever, and you may not have as much time as you think. It's sort of like a pregnancy. They give you a projected time frame, but this baby's going to come when it want to come. And so the baby that you want to have of living abroad someplace, it's like there may be events that happen in the world that cause your plan to accelerate. So you don't have as much time as you think you do, is basically what's going on. So there you have it.
So things we had to make what do you say, course correction?
Course correction, yeah.
A transformation. We had to start saying, okay, we're going to have to do, or either course correction, paradigm shift, all those things that you think of when you have to make a big change and do something different.
Yeah. So hey,
we
there
began
it is.
To do that and say, okay, what's our next step here? And so we started beginning to map out some things, praying. We did a lot of praying. Started changing up our, getting more focused on what it is, where it is, we were going to be going.
I like the way we work together because I remember Josiah, our oldest son, was having a dream. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Great to see you and your family. Say hello, please. Josiah had a dream, which is kind of interesting because here his life, I hope I'm not stealing any of his thunder, but this is you and I talking. He's way over there. Anyway, but you think about a person who, so we're retired and it's like you got to live your life. I got to work at some fantastic places. I'm at NASA, I'm meeting astronauts, and then I'm working for the IRS. Oh, hey, yes, Tracy, welcome.
All right.
Never late,
Welcome.
You're on time. And you realize he's got his whole future ahead of him and his career starting to take off. And he's doing things at Paramount Studios, Marvel, Disney. He's meeting Viola Davis, Amber Heard. He's getting, what's his name, Anthony Anderson from Blackish and that kind of stuff.
Lewis, yes.
Jennifer Lewis is taking
For
pictures
Blackish,
with him
yes.
with her leg wrapped around it. Anyway, Tracy Ellis Ross, his career was taking off. And in the middle of that somewhere, he has this dream, we need to get up out of here. And I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't have the dream he did. But we said, okay, well, we're going to do what we can. Should you be asking for dreams and things? No. Notice I did not say we asked for that. I didn't even say we did not even ask for a sign. We just simply, because actually the biggest sign is the fact that he lives within us and can direct us, which is different than when you think about the old covenant, whereas he was not inside of people and only prophets could tell people what direction to take. That we now, there were some words by Moses at one point in time when people were prophesying out in the camp, and he said, with the God, all of his people were prophets and could know the heart of the Father, and that's supposed to be the state now. So anyway, transformation, I think that's a major thing. We didn't know about it at the time. We were not trying to be pioneers or innovative. We really, trust me, we were not. And as that evolution took place in us, we began to realize that there was a shift happening in us that was required of us. Like, for instance, I don't know how to explain it, but one time I was working for Department of Justice. I had a great career there. I'd gone as high as I could go. I remember telling an assistant attorney general who was like a mentor to me, I think I need to move on. I was scared to tell her, and she was like, yeah, you've done all the good you can do. I'll help you. Just move on. And I ended up going to NASA. But before going there, I had interviewed in downtown DC, across the street from NASA. I forgot the name of the agency. Over across from now where is the morgue, as a matter of fact, the new building. And I remember being there, and the staff and the supervisors, the leaders were so welcoming. I realized I'm not ready. Meaning internally, there was some shifting and transforming that needed to happen inside of me to go to this place that had high levels of character and the way they did business. The leaders were not distant from the people. When you're coming from a button-down agency with dark suits, white shirts, like a law enforcement agency, it's a lot different when you get someplace else. So there was a transformation that was needed in me. And I think, so what I'm trying to say is there's a transformation that's happening in those of you who are interested in living abroad. And I'm saying, let the transformation occur. Let the, do not kick against the pricks. If you want to turn to the book of Acts, don't do that. Allow the nudging to move you in the direction where you need to be going. Those are what comes to my mind. I do know that one of the things we did was we decided versus choosing.
Right. Because we decided, and there was like no other options.
Exactly.
And we were focused, and we just decided this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to go about it, and we just kept going straight forward on that. So that was the beginning of where we are now.
Yeah, that's important. Some people call it burning the ships. And what they mean is, I forget the person's name, but in history, but I think they were, the troops were on the ship, and this is
Bonaparte?
15th, 14th century, 15th, 16th century. And anyway, so the crew had gotten off the ship to take this country, and it might have been Bonaparte with England, I don't know. But he told the lieutenants or whoever, burn the ships. In other words, you're going to succeed at this.
Right.
You have no other choice. And so with us, we didn't realize it at the time, but we made a decision, and we decided versus choosing. Because when you can choose one of the 33 flavors at Baskin Robbins, but it means that you just saying, I'll take this today, I'll take this tomorrow. But when you decide, you are, yes, Tanya, it is a huge difference. When you decide, you are cutting off all other options.
Right.
And sometimes you need to have that kind of an attitude where you're going to succeed. And I know when we were in financial difficulties, we literally, I don't want to go too in depth with this. If you want to know more details on certain things, you, go ahead and register for our membership to our upcoming members only our members only channel within our channel, okay, our videos, because we'll give more detailed information. But to be quite honest, we sued our mortgage company. It's like where you say, enough is enough. I've had enough. And sometimes you have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. I'm throwing cliches out here. So anyway, the deal is deciding, and as Tanya said, that is important. So that was what was going on within us. I do know this though, while we were in Los Angeles, that was when the YouTube channel really started taking off. It was me, then I drug you into it.
You didn't drag me.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good to know.
I mean, I didn't always know what was happening, but because you're so used to speaking in front of people and doing things, even though it's your phone, but still, I didn't always kind of know how to flow. So over time, I learned.
I think that was part of the transformation because we started doing that together. We had a little radio show online together,
Right.
which was a
That was fun.
blast, interviewing people all over
All
the world.
Yes.
And so that was exciting. And so this channel, we're not giving the origin story of the channel, but it goes back a long ways, as a matter of fact. But the channel was in our heart. And I suppose the things we go through, we have a heart to communicate those or chronicle those for others, create systems so that they can have an easier go at it, kind of a thing. So there's some thoughts there. All right, technical stuff. So somebody's going to ask this. We both are retired. We both receive our pensions,
Right.
and we are receiving our Social Security, and we're very excited about that. We're grateful for that. I'm thankful. Be quite honest with you, yeah, did have some concerns that, I don't know, Social Security might be going away because I was born, and so are you. We're at the end of, well, I'm the end of the baby boomers.
Right.
And so if you don't have enough people working to pay for the Social Security of the people who are retired, you got a problem there.
Right.
This is basic stuff here. And so that was a concern. I think one of the things we do is we try to hack, H-A-C-K, we try to hack life so that we're not stuck in what's traditional and what to do
Right. Outside the box, really.
outside the
Yes,
box.
Yes. And I think a lot of times people just do what everybody else does. And we're not those type of people. We kind of set our own course and we think about what is it we want to do, what's important to us. And so, yeah.
All right, so in your marriage, who was the first to be inspired to move abroad? So I want you to answer that. And Tanya Brooks had also said, way to go, sister, you've inspired her as an introvert. I'm 100% introvert, Tanya. Just so you know, I'm certified to administer the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and I am not 60, 75, 80, I am 99, 100% introverted, just so you know. Okay, but
I'm really not sure which one of us. I mean, I know you've talked about wanting to move long time ago when the guys were like maybe in middle school. You wanted to move to Virginia Beach.
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
you were trying to
Wait a
find.
minute, and your mother, she went with me to go check out. Man, it was on the water on the backside, and I thought she wasn't gonna like it. And she said, "Ooh, this is nice, Mark." And I was like, "Oh shoot!"
Yeah.
And I was gonna try to buy that thing. I didn't have the down payment.
Yeah, that
I
was
called
it.
that dude a year later. I was working at Justice. I called him from work, and he said, "Oh, he said, I remember you." You and I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to closing this week, right now." I was
A
like,
whole year
"Oh, man,
later."
A year.
Yeah, that was
okay.
crazy.
I
But-
interrupted you. Tell your
No,
story.
no, but I'm thinking it might be you, Mark. I guess because I mean, I always wanted to travel, but I never really thought about like moving to another place. I always felt I like where I am, but I don't mind traveling. But I think it was probably you. You were like, I don't know. I think I want to go someplace else. So I think it
Yeah.
was you.
Oh, okay. And I know it did start with Sandbridge,
Yeah.
Virginia. I did see that in my heart, and almost like it's on a screen in front of me. I saw that, and so you have to understand. I'm coming from the land of cornfields, soybean fields, wheat fields, herbicide commercials all day long. I used to count those things when I was in middle school, elementary school. I'm getting tired now just thinking about it. And So when I got to the DMV and I'm working downtown, I'm on what is it, K Street.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I'm at the shops. I'm at the Capitol. I'm at the White House, Ebbets Grill, and all this stuff. But when we got in the car and rode down I-64,
Excuse me. Yeah.
and man, we passed Hampton University, Fort Monroe, Phoebus, and you're coming through the tunnel.
That's
We're doing this. You're coming through the tunnel, and because the tunnel goes under the Chesapeake Bay,
on the water.
you're coming up, and the water is literally
You're
above
rising up
you. Yeah, and you're rising up to eye level. And when I saw that, I was like, oh shoot, this is the joint right
Yeah,
here. I was
yeah.
like, we would hop in the car and make a drive. What's that? 2.5, 4 hours, something
4
like
hours.
that.
It's
4
a
hours.
4-hour ride.
And
yeah.
just make a day trip out of it, just so I could stick my toes in the water. Oh, and Sandbridge is about 20 minutes south of Virginia Beach.
Right, right.
But
It's more of
what-
a family community. That's why
Yeah.
we really
Oh,
liked
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was great. I think that really, like, I started looking at the prices of the homes and all that kind of stuff. And I already talked about this place that your mother had
Yeah.
looked at with me. But the deal is that birthed something in us, you
Right,
know?
right.
And I like that ocean, just the salt water, and just to go fishing out there on the pier. So that was exciting. And I think, so that triggers a lot of the stuff. We mentioned it earlier, but the deal is, even though times were extremely tight for us, we decided we were a good time looking for a place to happen.
Yeah.
It's like our joy was not dependent on the happenings. We just had it anyway. And so that's why we were able to make trips, like I mentioned earlier, going to Tokyo, Osaka with Daniel. I mean, I was a little nervous about that, but he said that's where he wanted to go, right? That was fabulous to stand there and learn that there are actually black samurai who are there, to actually go to the palace, to go in Jamaica and swim,
Here we go.
yeah, to go to Jamaica and eat and swimming with the dolphins. And you can, let's see, me and Matthew went to Bermuda, and it was so cool to go to this little Jamaican shop there and ride the city bus around the town before getting back on the cruise ship. But that was a destination cruise, so we were only in Bermuda. That was fabulous. Or to be with Josiah on top of Chichen Itza. We climbed when you can't climb anymore. We climbed all,
Oh,
you can't do
yeah.
it anymore.
Because
We
the,
climbed-
because the rocks are all kind of
yeah,
crumbling?
they're crumbling. The place is disintegrating. And I mean, it's old.
Right, right.
So,
Hundreds of years. Thousands.
so anyway, but to do that with my son and to be up there, I mean, that's where, as he had said, they had filmed that Apocalypto movie by Mel Gibson. Anyway, and to see those statues and all, that was incredible. So I guess this thing was a part of our life, and the Sandbridge thing kicked it off. You got pictures of stuff here from our
this is-
Facebook.
we have a Facebook. That's me right here in St.
Kitts.
Kitts.
And yeah,
Yeah, that was one of the places we were thinking we might live in, but didn't happen that way. So,
yeah. The deal with St. Kitts Nevis when we were researching is, and we were thinking about buying a place there. I have a mentor coach when I was getting certified for a coaching program, and she and her husband have property down there, and it's like when you have focus and don't be distracted, and nice things can be a distraction. But we were focused that we wanted to research where we're going to go, and I remember talking to Heidi.
oh yeah.
So grateful for her and her husband. And I mentioned that she goes, oh, we have property in St. Kitts. In fact, we're going to be looking at selling one. If you want to go on down there, you can check it out. I was like, whoa, okay. And it was so funny because in homeschooling, you had encountered someone.
Yeah,
who-
I've met some friends and they were speaking about, I'd heard of St. Kitts, but I'd never heard of Nevis. And I don't know, the way they described it, I said, oh, we got to go. So then when he was asking me, where do you want to go? I just told him, he said, never heard of St. Nevis. So we looked into it and so glad we went.
Yeah, I am too. And we went over to Nevis, and there's a great medical facility there. Wow, we got to do that. Tanya was able to climb on the pyramid 29 years ago, and it was epic.
Oh,
Very
fabulous.
cool, very cool. Salute to you. There's a great medical facility down there in St. Kitts Nevis. I think it's
Yeah.
Nevis, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. And also, that's a place to move abroad too, as a matter of fact. I think I emailed them or sent a note to talk back and forth with,
Oh, yeah.
with the lady who runs the channel who I'd encountered. So many opportunities. I do want to say this, and that is just because it's something you may not 100% like, an option is an option.
Right.
It's still an option. So please, if you could keep that in mind. Yes, climbing the monuments. Yes, yes. Oh, so we do receive our Social Security and stuff like that. We moved to Rwanda. We didn't have any problems going there. We have our
Yeah.
family friends there. Shout out to Glow, Zach, Joy, Mark, and Tammy,
yeah,
Dorian.
Dorian.
That was so fun. I think what helped there is if you have a community of folks that you know, that makes the transition that much easier. I said this, and I think maybe people laugh at me, but sometimes you need to rest. And by rest, I mean you need to eat something you're used to. You need to hear your mother tongue, whatever that may be. You need to be able to laugh about the things that you have in common. And yes, adventure is good with different cultures, and you can learn so much, it'll transform you. But at some point in time, your soul's got to rest a little bit. And so I would really advise people to set themselves up and go ahead and put that in their plan, that they would have some kind of calculated schedule way for their soul to rest. So, as a matter of fact, while traveling, I have someone in the cheap seat shouting at me, reminding me that while we were in Japan, or while I was in Japan, and that person was there also, we went to the Burger King there because I happen to like Burger King. And so sometimes you need a little bit of something from home.
Hey, hey. Where my finger is, that's where they were in Japan, the youngin' and him.
that's the hotel we stayed at over there during one of our trips.
Father-son trip.
And yeah, we went to Mount Fuji and all that stuff too. That's the ability to be focused. Because if you don't have a goal for your energy and your resources and your money, and money is spiritual, we're not going to go down that path right now, but it is, and the energy around it, if you don't have focus, it just dissipates. Okay, basic physics, it's just going to deteriorate over time. Your savings account will drift away, your dreams will drift away if you don't have a focus to go deal with those things. So in Tanzania, we do have our residence cards.
Yes,
Notice I didn't say
yes.
Visa. We did get our Visa cards and then stamp, and then
Right.
we got our residence cards. On getting those, we did have to disclose our financials,
Right,
our bank
yeah,
statements
because they
and
need
stuff.
to know that you can, put into the
The economy and
couldn't get the word,
yeah.
into the economy, and that, you can take care of yourself and pay your bills and things like that, so they need to know that, so, yes.
Also, somewhere around after that time, I was chilling with, shout out to Troy and Lucina and Go Black and Dr. J. But it was just me and Go Black over Troy's house. And I had not, actually at that moment in time, I hadn't filed for my Social Security yet. I was getting my government pension.
Right, that's right.
So for those wondering if you can make it or whatever, remember the cost of living, depending on where you choose, your dollar's probably going to go a little farther. Now I know it's dangerous for me to make global statements like that, but I'm going to be honest with you. Depending on where you're going, more than likely you're going to do a little bit better, unless you're going to England or someplace like that, or unless you're going to someplace else in the United States. Anyway, the thing is, and I was so grateful to him. I was so blessed by this brother, because remember I came back home that night, we're sitting there,
Got that
and
computer out.
okay, so you're looking at somebody who really did not do well in accounting as a business major, right? And that's why I put my CPA's number up on the phone, because he and I We went to college together, and Phil got me through. Shout it out to Phil. Anyway, so I'm talking to Go Black, and he laid it out in less than 10 minutes, I think.
Right, right.
And he said, no. Basically, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. I was like, I can relate to that. And he worked out the numbers and showed me. I was like, oh shoot, what am I waiting on? You know, and net present value of money. So I was like, whoa, okay. And so I came home that night. I told you.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we gonna do this
Got the
thing.
computer. Did you do it?
That night,
Yeah,
yes,
you
I did it that night.
Yeah, you did. What,
Yeah.
the next day? You did it that night.
That night.
Yes, indeed.
That night, baby. So I filled out that form and got that stuff rolling. And they work with me. And I'm
Yes.
glad. And people, I guess y'all get concerned about the money. Well, we've been on the continent for about
Almost
3
3
years.
years, yeah.
And actually, we just recently went to go get a local bank account. And
Ah.
that was easy as pie. But no, man, it's like you got to have hacks in your mind and think world point
Yeah.
of view.
Yeah.
I'm at an age when I remember in my small town when ATM machines first rolled out. Okay, so that's how far back I go, all right? And so what I'm saying is I'm banking now on my phone. Oh, this is my phone we're using. I'm banking on my phone and I'm like moving money from here to there and into my phone wallet or on the mobile money thing that Rwanda taught me was the
Yeah.
thing. And I kind of like that. Now, some people may have challenges with it, and I respect you for that. My thing is, well, we're getting to a point where they pretty much got everything on us anyway. I'm going to live life. I'm going
Right.
to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And in fact, to be transparent to you all, one of the things that I know God, the Most High, said to me, and is I need to loosen up in my life. And that's me trying to be very transparent to you, because that was a clear word to my heart, that I need to loosen up and live. And I guess I'm talking to myself. I'm not really trying to be slick and give you a double entendre right now. But so I have fun doing the thing. If you're interested in how we move the money, we did a video on that. And maybe we'll put the link in the comments or something like that. But it was how we use World Remit and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
Let's see here. So yeah, we use U.S. banks while we just opened up a bank account, a local bank account now. Okay,
Yeah.
we just did it. It was easy to do. Yes, we brought our paperwork. Just find out from the bank what paperwork you're gonna need. Get it all together. Be patient. Calm down, and you can begin to fill out your forms. So that'll help you. In fact, if you want more details about how we move the money and stuff, because you don't feel like looking up the video, actually neither do I. We've got about over 350 videos, a little tiring, but I just want to say that, hey, you're welcome. We'll make an offer to you. You can register for the workshop. It'll be July 20th and 21st, where we're going to go through all the nitty-gritty
Right.
details exhaustively with regard to everything involving us and our move, the experiences we had. It's the sort of thing that we did before we left Los Angeles.
Right.
We went to multiple workshops. We called in friends. We purchased multiple books.
Right.
But that's another hallmark of us, to be a detective about where we're going.
Right.
Oh,
We do a lot of research.
yeah.
We do a lot of, it's like you gotta, like a lot of times you can have stuff in your mind, but if you don't have it written down or something like that, it gets lost. So we try to have, because you gotta compare. If you're gonna go to this one place that's not working out, well, let's try this other place. And you have to kind of see, there's so many things, and you'll see when you do the workshop, all the areas that you may not even think about that you need to look into that fits. It might be a place that you never even thought about, and you're like, oh, I think I want to go there. But if you don't do the research, you really won't know.
So we invite you to come register for the workshop. Go to our website right now, awakenwithmark.com, and you can sign up. The sign up link is right down there in the chat, and you can do that. It is possible for retirees to make it. Look at us.
Yes.
We're making it, and we know a whole lot of others. And yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. We've
No.
had, this is our second one, and we've had other people that are going to be retiring or that have retired that have felt that the workshop was good for them. So yes.
Shout out,
It would help you.
shout out to Mama Sonia. I'm sorry, honey. Shout out to Mama Sonia. I saw the thing go up there, and I got to look through the bottom part of my glasses, so I had to make sure I could see that. Yeah, and yes, I still get my glasses. What's that? Glasses lit.
Yes.
Yeah, I received those here. You know, I ordered 2 pairs, so you got a spare. But anyway, great beaches. Shout out Mama Sonia was over there enjoying yourself in Paje.
Paje.
That's where the sand is like flour.
Oh,
Okay, I mean, I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. I'm not embellishing. It is like flour. You got the wind blowing through your hair and all that kind of stuff. Wind therapy if you don't ride motorcycles. It's the best thing. And I didn't finish telling people about, oh yeah, come to the workshop, register for it. So it'll be a blast. We know you'll like it. Let's see here. Wow. Oh, you know what? People might have some trepidation about being retired and, let's see here, leaving the United States. Whereas actually for us, if you're concerned about retiring abroad, I'm saying we're actually truthfully concerned about monies in the United States.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, there was articles and some videos on YouTube I was seeing the other day, people explaining the banking system. I mean, it's coming from more and more mainstream sources. And I was like, especially with what's going on with the petrodollar. So my goal is not to scare you. I'm just simply saying exiting is an option.
Right.
You learn this in coaching. It's just like, hey, I'll give you this model for free. GROW. G stands for goal. What is your goal? R stands for reality. What is your current reality? And O stands for what are your options? W stands for what's next? What's the next step you can take within the next 7 days or 30 days? And so what I'm saying is don't exclude living abroad as a potential option when you consider the financial situation that is occurring in the United States. And so just give that some serious thought, give it some consideration, okay? Let's see here. We have been back to the United States.
Yes, we went back last year to visit family. That was our major goal, to go do that. We enjoyed it. We were glad we did it.
That was a blast.
It was different, but
it was over, and we stayed over 30 days,
yes,
something like
we
that.
did.
It's nice to
Yeah.
be able to do that. I will say this, sadly, when we did become ill there, what's funny is these things are not happening to us outside of the United States. So it's like, golly, duh. Anyway, read between the lines, folks. Let's see here. We had visited places in Africa. That's a blast. No one's asking now, but yes, when you see Josiah somewhere in a live, somebody asked this, those are real lions he is with. Those are real giraffes, real zebras,
Yes.
as they call them here, wildebeest and all that kind of stuff.
And he
Yes,
was at a
they're real.
safari. They're not walking down the street where we are.
No,
But he
'cause
was at a
some people
safari.
have asked
Yeah,
us
people
that.
have asked that
No, they are
too.
not.
It is civilized.
Yeah, and also he's seen Mount Kilimanjaro. Yes, we are seeing, what's that combination, donkey horse thing or whatever in Uganda. So it's all a blast. I think what has happened is we are experiencing a launching point for other things in our life,
Yes.
other travels, and other things. We are meeting people. Well, we've always met people from all over the place, even when
Right.
I lived in my little town in central Illinois, because of the historical landmarks there. But at the same time now, it's like it's on a much, much higher level.
Yeah.
We're meeting people who are doing things that are incredible. As many of you who are chiming in, like Mama Sonia, and things that they're doing, it's off the charts, which really inspires us, I guess, and fuels us
Right.
to live more.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people say, okay, if you retire, what are you going to be doing? I guess the first and foremost, if you're able to retire before you come, before you move to where you're going to move to, that would be great. But it's like a lot of people here, they have other businesses, they have other things that they were doing before they retired to kind of keep them going afterwards and enjoying that. Like you might be working a job your whole life, but it's not really what you want. You're like, man, I've always wanted to open a bookstore. I've always wanted to, do real estate or anything. And a lot of the people we've come in contact with are doing those things. Like we mentioned Mama Sonia, she's got a stand where she's doing beautiful salads and stuff, and she's helping the community. And other people are, might have helped people build and stuff, but whatever their giftings were, wherever they came from, they're coming here and doing those same things. So you can still do things and enjoy and have a full life when you leave where you are to be in Africa, be it in Europe, be it in another place.
I think I'm finding, it's more life because the opportunity to do things, the peace, I can think and I can be more creative. And I do want to say, when I say be more creative, I'm not trying to make that a cliche. I truly believe the Most High is our Father in heaven and He's a creator. So if we are His children, then we are a chip off the old block, which means our natural state is creation. And it's kind of tough to create if you're on the hamster wheel, getting on the metro, whether it's in DC, LA, or you're on the 5 in LA or in Perimeter, you're going around Perimeter in Atlanta. It's like your life is going round and round and round, and you really don't have time to build anything, to do something to fulfill your dream, which contributes to the next person's dream. So that's a hard pill for me to swallow. I couldn't, anyway. We do not want to have any regrets, and that is very important. Also, you have a thing that you said, whatever it is.
Yeah, I said, whatever it is, do it now, not later. Because that's another thing of procrastinating or something, or thinking you can't do it. You don't know until you step out to do it. It's not as hard or as you think it is. But if you don't venture out and say, okay, there's other people I don't know how many people, of older people that are doing YouTube channels or doing things, but there are a lot of people that we've seen that have channels that have moved out to Africa and maybe Costa Rica or other places that are older people that have retired and decided, I'm just going to live my life someplace else, and they're enjoying themselves and they're just relaxed and it's like a new beginning for them. So it can be done.
If you wanted to shoot a couple questions at us, I thank you for the comments that you all put in there. That would be fine to shoot a couple questions. Maybe we'll hang in here a little bit longer. Since she brought up the YouTube channel again, I do want to say that I kind of blathered on about it. Yes, I did about everything. But the deal is, if you did not notice, what I was trying to say was, our YouTube channel was actually started by the old folks in our house, meaning over 61, 62, 63, 64, the old folks. The young folks in our house, those from 25 to 35, they looked at us and they were like, oh, shoot, y'all got something going on here. And realized they were doing things social media wise, right? But, so don't tell me you can't do it. I heard one person say, doing things on social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's X, whether it's YouTube, whatever, is the equivalent of buying land in downtown Manhattan in like, I don't know, 1911 or something like that. It's just awesome that you could do that and have access to the world. So there you go.
Okay, I saw a question. I didn't see the person's name, but they said, what country would we recommend them to retire? That is not an answer that we can give you because we don't know your lifestyle. And so you would have to research, you would have to figure what it is that you like, because we really can't answer that. But if you venture to know more about that, we have a workshop coming up July 20th and 21st that could help you to figure out where it is you may want to be and what your likes and dislikes are. But it's hard to kind of know that. We have a starter guide that you can get through our website that's free.
Free 99.
Free,
Free. That is a 4-letter word that we're not afraid to use.
yes.
Free. And this is important because, oh, thank you, Jared Davenport. This is important because whatever you value, and that's the number one thing they drilled in me in terms of coaching. The answer is within you. It's based on your values.
Yes.
Me, I value the ocean,
Yeah.
the, I guess,
Peace and quiet.
the wind blowing through my hair,
Yeah.
peace and quiet, yeah.
Not such a big rat race, kind of slow, kind of just easy. You know, that's kind of where we are, you know. So it all depends on what is it you're looking for. I mean, if you live in say, New York, and you want the hustle and bustle, we could venture to say maybe you might like South Africa or you might like Ghana. It all depends on, you know, what you're looking for. And that's where a lot of research comes in. You can Google places and put in something that's more to what your lifestyle is like, and that might be where you want to go. So but it's kind of hard knowing that, not knowing you, so.
Yeah, one of the key things is do the hard work to decide what it is you want.
Yeah.
That is like one of the things we're learning a lot from so many people we've done consultations and done group consultations with, and expats we've talked to, and just kind of looking in the mirror ourselves. It's very difficult. People, you got to spend time reflecting on what it is that you want. And I think what happens is that some kind of way got beat out of us when we were immersed in the Western culture. And it's so sad because it's important. It's what you might like. So
That's good. That's something. Okay.
I tell you, things can happen. One thing we didn't tell you is even though one of the things I used to be responsible for was swearing in federal employees, and it's the same oath of office that the president takes, very short. And then I would check their passports to confirm that this is the exact person. And I remember doing that at the time, and I didn't have a passport. And in fact, I really didn't even know where people were getting these things from. So we're not trying to like dazzle you with something here. You probably some of y'all might be falling out laughing right now thinking he can't be serious. Yes, I am serious. We just didn't know. And I remember one of our vans was being worked on, certainly not at a shop or the dealer. We went to a shade tree mechanic because the money was tight. And I remember he said, this is going to be a while. So you and I took a walk.
Right.
And I don't know if it was near Connecticut
when was
Avenue or
this?
where that was in DC. But the deal is we were on our way back and we walked past the post office and there was this huge poster and it said, get your passports here. And I was like, oh, there it is. And so we eventually went and got our passports.
When was that, like the late 90s or something?
It was somewhere in there, but we made that a goal and we got that done. And I guess I'm just trying to say to you, that's when I said the grow model, that's the W. What can you do in the next 7 days? It might be a small little thing, but as Les Brown said, the hardest thing about starting is starting. Just get started. Life abroad.
Yeah. We tell a lot of people, get your passport, you don't know when you might need to go somewhere. So get your passport.
Yeah, you'd like to be able to leave under your own power and not under duress.
Right,
So
right.
something to think about. All right, well, I suppose we're grateful for everyone. If you would give us the thumbs up, if you hung in here this long, give us that like, and we really appreciate that. We appreciate all of your support in watching the channel. Thank you. God bless you also. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
1996, JSAC. And we are excited about this. We're excited about what can happen for you.
Yes.
Truth be told, I'm a dreamer. My family allows me to get in with that in terms of being a dreamer. And I know you have dreams. please make your dream come true, because I'm sure my grandchildren might benefit from you achieving your dream, and then they're going to have dreams. So all dreams are interconnected. Did you see what Tracy happened to say?
Something, how did we feel when we first got on social media? I didn't see it here.
Oh, okay. Hey, Tracy, if that's what it was, about how do we feel about first getting on Tanya? How did you feel about when you first got on social media? It was an accident for me. We were in the DMV over in Upper Marlboro, and I was sitting in the dining room in a chair, and I think I was near Facebook or something like that, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I touched it, and it went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're live. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. And so, yeah, accident happened there. But I guess I'll answer for me. My goal is to continue to try to be as authentic as possible. Maybe sometimes I'm a little too authentic. I'm kind of got that small town Midwestern kind of mindset. Might get me in trouble, but I don't want to not be who I am. But I also want to use it as an opportunity to peel back the layers of myself and grow and grow and grow. So for me, it's fun, and I think it kind of aligns with my with my personality. Because I used to do interviews on HUD TV and NASA TV for the whole agency. So I'm really used to being in broadcasting booths and stuff like that, and having people like Reggie Braxton, shout out Reggie down there in Puerto Rico, saying to me and his whole crew, and they pretty much said to me, you need to keep doing this. And I also have a cool friend, Rose, and she said, tell the truth, you really like doing this, don't you? And I said, wow, no one ever asked me that before. I guess I do. How do you feel?
When I first did it, I wasn't sure. I was kind of really nervous, and I'm not usually one to do this type of thing that we're doing. That's just not something I did. They're always doing that, you know, media people, and he does presentations, and the young people, they're always on there, you know, doing this, doing that. You know, I just never did that. And so it was very uncomfortable at first. I didn't know when to say something, when to talk, because it's like you don't want to just sit there and he's talking the whole time and I'm not. And so it took me a while to just kind of feel relaxed. And one of my sons, when we would do certain things, he said, give her some tips or things. And so that helps me to kind of know, okay, if we were doing something that had a theme, I kind of need to know, okay, what am I going to say next? Or if it's something I'm real comfortable with, then I'm okay, I can kind of flow. But it took a while for me to just kind of, you know, feel comfortable. And, but I think what happens with me now, because I've been doing it for a while, we get a lot of comments that a lot of people they like seeing me on. It's kind of interesting that they'll say, you know, they'll ask about my hair, or they'll ask my face, just things they ask, you know, and I just think I'm an older person just doing this thing, but you know, people seem to be caring about what I look like and what I say. So I just try to be me and just keep doing it. And so I think if you're feeling, anyone's feeling the nudging, and you're feeling the nudging that you should say something, you know, practice. Have some friends with you, or a family member, someone, and practice, you know, and just sit at times and just do that. And after a while, it'll prayerfully become more natural to you to be able to do that. So if you're feeling, I need to say something about my family history or anything, you know, go on and do that. So, yeah.
You know, you gave some very solid stuff, and I think we should do that, give some solid stuff. So nudge me if I forget to mention Gary Vee, and doing at least 25 videos, okay? I want to back up a little bit. We were in Malibu. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And just below Calabasas. And right there on the ocean, just hanging out. And we were going to videotape, and our oldest son, Josiah, said, Dad, you need to maybe consider giving Mom some bullet points. And it reminded me of working in the government. You have to give executives, so she's the executive, the queen. You give them bullet points, talking points they call them. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Don't act like you don't. And so then I was like, okay. And so my son gave me that information. And I moved forward with it, and she said, okay. And so now we had a video go viral. It's approaching, golly, 800,000 views or something. We did that like off the cuff, to be quite
Yeah.
honest with you. I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
was-
We just did it.
Yeah, we didn't plan it.
And-
We just said, oh, let's talk about that. Sit down. We did it. What was it, like 30 minutes, not even 35 minutes.
No. And I guess the deal is one of the things we do is we try to respect the gifts of each person. And so there's a scripture, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. That's in Proverbs. And the deal is we have been taught, shout out to Pastor Jeff and them, we have been taught that that is not religion that's talking about there. That's talking about the natural bend, the gifting, like Romans 12 or 1 Corinthians 12, the gifting that the person has. If it's a chef, then that's the way he should be trained up in that way. And so when a person's in their lane, they're a genius. And so when my son gave me that advice, he's in genius mode, and I need to yield to that and listen to him. And then that makes the team work better. And so, meaning not just she and I'm talking about the whole family. And so that's what we try to do in our family is respect each other's giftings and yield to those. Now, with regard to technical stuff, and because I think somebody, Tanya, maybe you have a story that you need to tell. Think about what has worked for you in the past when you had to work through something, and look and see if you can, if that teaches you or informs you on what you can do next. Also, you have the option to do this. So there's a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, and he does a lot of cussing, so I'll just warn you about that up front. The deal is, he gave some great advice, and a lot of his pushing helped us to get going. As we yielded to listen and then do. You just can't pontificate on it. You got to do something. You got to take action. Do 25 videos. I don't care if it's 1 a day, 2 a day. Just get 25. And the thing is, the video you do at 15 is going to make the video you did at number 3. It's night and day difference. But that's called growth. You didn't know how to walk when you got here. You didn't know how to ride a bike. You didn't know how to drive a car. You didn't know how, I could go on and on and on. But that's a growth mindset. If you get a chance, look at that by Carolyn Dweck, the book, A Growth Mindset. And it's like you can actually move forward in the thing, and you can do this. And I really encourage you to tell your story about being the only survivor in your family. Our sons nudged us and put that up for us to see.
Yeah.
So I really pray that you would take courage, take good courage, and accomplish this thing, because it's not about you. It's about someone else, serving others. All righty, well, in terms of questions, going once, going twice, please like, please subscribe, please share this, nudge somebody, say, hey, check them out. We got a few exciting things that are coming up in the future. We're expanding and all kinds of stuff like that. So, hey, there's a book for you. Do It by Gary
There you
V.
go,
Also,
Tanya.
I think it's Jab, 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 Right Hook, something like that, book he wrote. And he's also free on Instagram and YouTube, as a matter of fact. So, having said all that, it has been a pleasure being here with you and doing this live with you. And I guess this is
All right.
Toodles.
Thank you.